Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm answering your questions. I know that I was reading online a couple of comments that were a little bit unsettling to me, and I know it happens a lot with anyone that's on social media. You know, like you read stuff that you don't like, people's opinions that don't sit well with you. I mean, these things happen, and I've learned to accept them rather than try to change people, because it is what it is. The fact that everyone's on social media, and that means you have access to pretty much anything and anyone in any place on the planet, you know? And this is definitely a groundbreaking time in awareness. Like, we all know that we exist now. We all know that we all have a voice and we all have an opinion, and it affects us because it's right in our phone. Like, I can turn on my phone, I can go through my Facebook feed, and I can see ignorant comments, I can see funny videos, I can watch things going on in the Middle East. I can see so much, and it's a lot to take in because it's not necessarily real. It's in this little virtual place that exists within our phone and within our social media. It's not actually happening around us. Could you imagine if it was happening around us? I feel like there's some misunderstanding and confusion when it comes to what I do and what I'm doing and what I choose to do and what I choose not to do. So I asked you guys on Facebook and Instagram, as well as Snapchat, to send me questions, things that you guys might be wondering about. I don't necessarily communicate a lot on YouTube because I don't have the time to like set up the camera and the light and like do this stuff, but I'm willing to do it because I love connecting with you guys. And YouTube is a platform that I'm a little unfamiliar with. I know I have close to like, I don't know, like 30,000 subscribers, I think, or maybe more. I don't know. And I'd like to do something for you guys as well. So I'm gonna try my best to start making more YouTube videos so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. Okay, so Janetta says, I became a fan after being introduced to you on couples therapy. I am a middle-aged Caucasian woman from Southern California. I consider myself open-minded, but have a lot to learn. I want to learn more and be educated more about what you have gone through, both mentally and physically, during your transition. I won't lie, I'm curious about surgeries that transgender men and women go through. I'd like to know if you now feel comfortable, if you feel complete, and if you feel good in your own skin. I think you are beautiful. I think you are very graceful. You never acted inappropriate on couples therapy, so you are very classy. I really want to know more about you so that I can be more educated and supportive to others who may need support. Okay, that's awesome. Perfect. This is how I'm going to start, Janetta. Every transgender person is different. Every human body is different. Every genetically born female's body is different. Every genetically male's body is different. And I'll give you some examples. And I know this may sound a little bit ignorant, but whatever. This is how I choose to express myself. Some women are born with big butts. Some women are born with big boobs. Some women, not so much. Some women are born pear-shaped. Some women are born square-shaped. It is what it is. And this is biological women. Men, the same thing. Some men are way more well-endowed than others. Some men are taller. Some men have bigger hands. Some men have bigger feet. That is just human nature. Like, that is as simple as it is. So when it comes to trans people, we have kind of like our work cut out for ourselves, because not only do we have to fight our biological chemistry, but we also have to fight what's happening on the outside world. And that takes a toll emotionally, because when you continuously become rejected, it's difficult for you to bounce back and stand on your own 2 feet. I know a lot of trans people who are invisible, you know, they figure out a mold, you know, to live by, you know, and this is women specifically. A lot of my trans friends would rather look like a stereotypical bad bitch just to blend in, instead of just carving a life out of their own, you know, and that's their security blanket, and that's cool. But me personally, I say fuck it. Like, I'm not going to try to fit society's mold of an attractive female when I don't even barely know myself as a woman yet. Like, how can I offer the world or someone new in my life who I am if I'm too busy trying to be who everyone else wants to be or who everyone else tries to be, you know? And like, that's something for me that's never sat well. I think that emotionally, it's taken me a lot of time to realize that some people will never accept me for the woman that I am, for the woman I've become. And I just choose to continue on and keep going because this is my life. And if someone's gonna be angry or rejectful or hateful for me choosing to live my life authentically, then they probably aren't worth my time because they're probably not living their life authentically. Like, I really believe that real recognize real, you know? And my human body is a gift from God. Yes, I would have wished I was born biologically female because that's what feels right in my heart and my soul. But God decided to throw me a wild card, you know, and I'm gonna use it to the best of my ability. I'm gonna be good to it. I'm gonna be kind to my body. But I'm also gonna be kind to others, you know, and that's the best I can offer, you know, and I try to really cultivate my character as a woman. I try to be understanding of culture, of tradition. I try my best to not be vulgar because it's not me. I've always been that way. And yeah, if you want to Google any surgeries that trans people may choose to go through, either to feminize or to make more masculine, I'm sure you can Google, you can find stuff. But me personally, I decided to kind of reverse a lot of my surgeries. Like, I took my breast implants out. You know, anything else that I've done was like minimal. You know, like I straightened my nose and it's still kind of big, but like it's part of my face. Like, it's part of who I am. Like, I'm not trying to be a perfect woman, whatever that is. Like, I'm just trying to be a perfect me, you know? Like, this is me. This is my nose, this is my face, this is my chin, this is my skin. These are my real boobs. I mean, they're small, but I love them, you know? All right, next question. I don't know how it feels to be in your shoes, but I could imagine how much hate you must endure. How do you overcome the barriers of just being who you are? Well, you know what? I try my best to like ignore the hatred because I know it's just misunderstanding and it's just ignorance. Like, most people aren't confronted or exposed to trans people on a daily basis, so some of them just don't know any better. And as much as it gets my blood boiling, and as often as it has happened right in front of my eyes, I've been able to compose myself like a lady, you know? Like, I'm not gonna let anyone else's ignorance or disbelief of who I am to affect me, because I know who I am. I know what my bank account looks like. I know what my ID looks like. I know what my house looks like. I know what my car looks like. I know what my closet looks like. And I know all these are material things, but these are the things that validate my identity and who I am as a person. You know, my career is something that I love so much because I get to service my community and service other people. So to allow someone's ignorance and even misguidance of who I am to affect me would just be wrong, you know, because I stand firmly in my own shoes, in my own shoes, on my own 2 feet. I have been able to produce some amazing experiences in my life. And sometimes, you know, those experiences with those people who hate are all part of it as well. Like, I always look at life as a lesson. So if I know what is in line with who I truly am in my being, in my calm state of peace and beauty, if I know that for a fact, and I know it and I feel it and I touch it and I taste it and I see it, when I do get challenged, it's my job to perfect that area of my personality and how I choose to deal and how I choose to cope with situations like that. So it's, you know, I just kind of count my blessings, you know, and I just try my best to communicate in a way that the person won't be so hateful, you know. And yeah, it gets me angry, and yeah, it gets me like annoyed, but I don't let it affect me. So Kathy is asking, who is the doctor who did your complete transition, specifically vaginoplasty? And how long was your recovery time before you were able to make love to your man? Well, I actually went to a doctor in New York City. His name is Dr. Philstein. And I was able to make love to my man about 6 months, 3 to 6 months after my procedure. And I'm very happy. It went very successful. And I'm still happy that I can lubricate. I don't know if that's TMI, but there you go. Okay, so Yvette is asking, I have one question and one comment. First, I was a huge fan of yours way before your transition when you were on Drag Race. I remember you said you had to be as naked as possible at all times. You were gorgeous as a man and now you're gorgeous as a woman. My question is this, since you always felt you were a woman and that has always been your true identity, why is it that you don't want to be 100% woman as far as body parts? I know this is an intrusive question, but you did ask us to be honest. Thanks for your time. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say and explain that being 100% woman does not necessarily require a vagina or a uterus or the need to bear children. That's number one, right? Because we want to give respect to the women in the world who can't have kids, who, you know, and the trans women as well, who choose not to get the bottom surgery. And it's because of this. It's very simple, babe. Like, imagine if you can't come for the rest of your life and you're in your 20s, and do you understand how much of a bitter Betty you would become if you can't come? And that's a risk, you know, because I don't know if you've seen the video on YouTube of the male to female vaginal gender reassignment surgery, but you know, they kind of, it's invasive. Like, they go in, you know, and when everything's healing and your body's trying to understand, like, WTF, like, what's going on, you know, like, you can go either way. Like, either it'll be successful and everything will work and they hooked up all the wires properly and you can climax and you can lubricate, or not, you know, like, that's the risk. It's 50-50. Yes or no. At the time, I had to go through the hormonal changes. I was on tour. I got a divorce. Then I got remarried. Like, I think I've had so many, like, insane, memorable life experiences just in half of a decade. Most people go through this, like, their entire life, you know? Like, I went through puberty. I went through, you know, relationship issues, adjustments. I went through feeling what fame feels like, all in a matter of just 5 short years. So when it came to surgery, I was always really careful. Like, okay, I don't want to do something that's gonna damage my morale, how I feel about myself, you know, how I am intimate, you know, with my partner. Like, I don't want to jeopardize that. So for a while, I chose not to get bottom surgery because I was afraid of the risks, you know? But I think that I've always been 100% woman. I was just having fun with my male body before, you know? And yeah, it just takes a while to really become who you are. So thank you, Yvette. So Misty Bowling says, Carmen Carrera, I had a dream last night that we were good friends. We were at a nightclub when a guy started harassing her, so I was looking for a back way for her to leave without the jerk seeing her go. As a friend, I would totally do that or more for her if she ever needed it. I think she is so beautiful and she seems so sweet on my Snapchat. Aw, thank you, Misty. Hold on. Hello? Hola.
Hola. Hello.
Sí. Ok, mi amor, te veo lunes.
Dale. Dale, corazón.
Okay, yeah, ciao. So Rachel Venus asks, what made you remove your implants? I love your natural body, but I also support any woman who desires body modifications for herself. Well, to be quite honest with you, my breast implants were getting in the way of me booking my modeling jobs. I don't know if that's too frank. I don't care if people judge me, but guess what? A woman's got to make her money, okay? So, let's go. So next question. Roxanne Raven Uber. Okay, so Roxanne says, I just wanted to thank you for literally saving my life. It was your transition story that I heard 3 years ago that made me realize that I'm trans. I had no idea what transgender was before then, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I had planned to end my life that week. After 40 years of unbearable trauma, 3 years later, here I am, the real me, and finally able to live and enjoy life. I wanted to thank you for some time, but I know that you get like a bajillion messages and would probably never notice something from a random fan. Hopefully this is the right time. Thank you, Carmen, for everything, Roxy. Aw, Roxy, you're welcome. This is why I do what I do. You know, like, you're not alone, and we're all going through this at the very same time in this moment. So it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, you know, we're all trying to pitch in for change. So I'm happy that I was able to help you. So I'm from New Jersey, and I don't know if it's a Jersey girl thing, but we love our coffee. Yum. Okay. I like the song.
I'm winning if she ain't a friend as I'm twisted. I just hit the blunt and I'm lifted. I can't even front and I'm gifted. My passenger driving, I'm going off that liquid. I'm high like that hose, man, I'm ignorant. Don't have many fucks I give. None. One thing I dislike when I hit it talk shit, I got no income. Mix that juice up with that gin. Sun's like black guys, but never did one.
Okay, so here we go. Here we go with the drama. Okay, so Nina Petite Morse writes, what are your thoughts on Caitlyn Jenner? Do you think she's done a good job representing the trans community? Do you think she should be the spokesperson for the trans community? If not, then who? Well, okay. One thing I have to say about Caitlyn Jenner that I respect so much about her is that she's trying. Like, she's legitimately trying to bring awareness of trans issues onto her platform. And I love her so much for that. But I think that it would be more authentic if she didn't focus so much on the fact that she's someone and actually showed how she's restarting her life. I feel like her show speaks about trans issues with the other cast members and how the other cast members are so passionate about equality and acceptance and understanding, and you know, even with marriage equality, you know, like they touch on all of those subjects and those issues, but Caitlyn's kind of like oblivious. She's still very Republican, and she doesn't understand why some of the conservative Republican views actually make her look like a hypocrite. And it loses its momentum. You know, the show, when it first came out, it had so many more viewers. And I think it's important to understand that when you have such a platform with so many viewers, you have to really know, as a business person, what's the best way to keep your fans in tune. And I think that it would have been more interesting to explore a more vulnerable side of Caitlyn, actually making an honest attempt to fit in to this society as a woman. Not just as Bruce Jenner, who was an Olympic gold medalist, now becomes Kate, who's gonna save the world. Because it's, ideally, it sounds great. you know? And we need someone to stand up on a higher pedestal and show us support. But I honestly don't think it should be a trans person. I think it should be someone who's not trans, who has a deeper connection and a larger fan base to those people who are ignorant about trans issues, who can then introduce maybe a transgender person to their circle of fans and admirers, such as like like Zayn Malik, or Gigi Hadid, or even Kendall Jenner, who are like these big names in fashion as well as pop culture and young people. Why don't they make friends with a transgender person, and make it more normal? I think that would help the trans community more than having the shock value of someone famous who transitions and then wants to be a walking PSA, but still doesn't believe in equal rights. You know what I mean? So the way that I feel about Caitlyn is like, I love the fact that she's making an attempt, but I also feel that maybe she does need some genuine guidance, and she should take the advice of her castmates, because I feel like if it wasn't for some of them, maybe there wouldn't be an I Am Kate, So that's what I think. Don't judge me. I don't want to hear no bullshit. I love you, Caitlyn. So Katie asks, did RuPaul's Drag Race help or hurt you? I became a huge fan of you on that and loved you since, but I'm curious to know how both the drag and trans community perceived you from your appearance on the show. Well, I kind of feel like, and any Drag Race contestant can attest to this, the drag community existed way before Drag Race, way before RuPaul even thought to put a wig on. Way before World of Wonder decided to produce this TV show. There was a very active drag community, predominantly competitive, like pageants, competitions, and stuff like this. And it was beautiful. And this is where I grew up. This is how I got to know my first trans performer. This is how I perfected my craft. And this is how the community I surrounded myself with before I was even on Drag Race. So they kind of taught me how to do my thing, And I think that when you're a contestant on Drag Race and, you get taken to this other platform where you have most of your fans who are not from the drag community, who are not from the pageant side of things or the club circuit, they're just people at home that are watching, that are ignorant to what has changed in drag. You get put on a different level, a different pedestal. So sometimes when you go back and perform at clubs as a Drag Race performer, sometimes you get judged differently because it's a very closed circuit, I feel. It's very judgy, and it's only for your best interest, like as a performer. Like, I think that growing up in the drag circuit has made me such a stronger person and a more confident person because people were so strict with the mold. Like, this is how you have to perform. This is what's most effective. Like, they gave me the answers. I didn't have to go through trial and error to get to where I wanted to go because I had all my girlfriends that were around me who maybe did use microaggressions to show me what I was doing wrong, which might not be the best way to go about convincing someone to better themselves, but it helped me nonetheless. Being that I had connections in the drag community before Drag Race, I don't think I was judged as harshly as some other contestants that might have started out on Drag Race. But I would say the most challenge has come after Drag Race because I feel like my core fan base started with Drag Race, and then once I stopped doing my shows and I started modeling and changing my aesthetic and really coming out of that shell that I had created, because Carmen Carrera on stage was almost like one of my defense mechanisms, to survive in the world, to be loud and proud, to be celebrated, to be, able to perform and be flamboyant. And now that I'm kind of like offering more of my true self and not that character, I think that some people are like in shock, you know, that they're like, wait, but Carmen Carrera can't be like a model. Like, what do you mean? Like, no, like she's a drag queen, or she's this, or she's that, or she's born a man, and blah, blah, blah. And that, you know, it's unsettling to me, because I feel like I'd rather be loved for who I truly am than become a puppet for other people's approval and attention. Like, I will always be a performer. I will always go back to performing and doing things on stage, because it's what I'd like to do for fun. But my life is so much more deeper than that. I have so much depth in my character, and I have so much more to offer as a woman. And as I let more and more people into my mind, into my head, into my soul, I feel like it's more value. I have more value because of that, rather than being just known as a performer, you know, and with the heavy makeup and with the glamorous costumes. Like, that stuff is great, but it's not real. It's not real for anyone. You know, it's not their real life. Nobody functions like that every single day, you know, and I feel like it's extremely unrelatable to like the average woman at home who I identify with, you know. That's just how I feel about it. So I don't think Drag Race did anything to hurt me at all. I think Drag Race helped me get my name out there. It's one of the stepping stones in my career, and I'm very thankful to have been a part of that experience, and I learned a whole lot, you know. But I think in a way people are a little upset that I'm not performing, but I'll be back very soon, don't worry. All right, guys, well, that's all the time that I have for you today. I hope I answered some of your questions and you got to know me a little bit better. I will be doing 2 more videos about in this series. One for the questions that were asked on Snapchat, and another for the questions that were asked on Instagram. So thank you very much, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Just give me like a little bit of time, okay? I love you guys. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.